Hello and welcome to Teachings in Education. These are the top 10 most commonly asked teacher interview questions. Let's begin with the first question. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and your experience in education? This is the time to showcase any awards or honors you have received as a teacher. Maybe you won Teacher of the Year or some other prestigious award that you would like the committee to know about. Next, show everyone that you are a leader. Talk about some leadership roles that you have taken on. Mention professional development that you have led or a PLC, which is a professional learning community that you were in charge of. Nowadays, schools are looking for teachers to do more than just teach. Teachers must fill roles as coaches and much more. This is the important one. Being able to show a history of student success. Try your best to be able to show documentation of student success through scores or portfolios. This is very important. On to question number 2. Why did you choose a career in education? This question is all about an emotional connection. You need to show your love for teaching by answering this question in an emotional way. One example is to tell an emotional and personal story about how a teacher has changed your life. Everyone has one of those stories. Other teachers have chosen a career because they love the content that they teach. Math teachers are great at math, so why not do something you're very good at? Some teachers are born to be teachers. All their life, they love teaching others. Maybe you grew up teaching your younger brothers and your younger sisters. Or your mother was an amazing teacher and you wanted to grow up to be like her. Continuing on, we go on to question number 3. What is your teaching philosophy? This is a pretty vague question, but many teachers, rightfully so, argue that teaching is all about student-teacher relationships. The most important part of getting a child to learn is to first develop a relationship with that child. Teaching is survival of the passionate. A teacher needs to have passion and have it each and every day of the year. A teaching career isn't worth it if you don't have passion. Many teachers base their philosophy off of exciting lessons, grand projects, or cool experiments. Perhaps student engagement is the most important thing to you. Teachers often relate their teaching practice to raising a child. The idea is that if you love your students as much as you love your child, you will do everything in your power to see that student succeed. Next up, number 4. How will you incorporate technology into the classroom? And like most schools, I will focus on Google Apps for education because I personally use them all the time. YouTube is a great place to start. You can find content on any subject. With that in mind, teachers can flip their classroom using videos. Google Forms can be used for assessments and are linked to flipped classrooms as well. Google Classroom allows teachers to use a blended classroom approach. Teachers can stream a lesson, post assignments, have announcements, and much more. Google Docs allows students to work together in real time and get notifications. Google Docs are a great way to incorporate 21st century technology skills with cooperative learning. Lastly, I think all teachers should create their own class website. On the website, they can include a class syllabus, student of the month, calendars, and all sorts of information. The 5th question on the list. How would you differentiate instruction for a diverse class of learners? First, we need to understand that nobody learns in the same way. For example, boys are usually more visual learners than girls. Therefore, accommodate students for auditory, visual, kinesthetic, and various learning styles. As a teacher, you can differentiate the content itself. You can adapt the content to your students' preferences. Teachers should offer a variety of different texts, manipulatives, and projects. Books on tape is one way to present stories to students that lack grade-level reading abilities. Teachers can differentiate learning products through various forms of assessment. They can allow some students to complete assignments through presentations, while other students can complete assignments with portfolios or through essays. Now on to number 6. One of the most important questions a teacher can answer. How will you manage student behavior in your classroom? You cannot expect your students to come to a classroom and already know the rules. Be sure the students are aware and understand a clear set of rules. Classrooms can quickly get out of hand if a teacher doesn't stay on top of their students. Teachers must intervene early and quickly and enforce those rules at all instances. Having engaging lessons is the best medicine for student misbehavior. Provide challenging and engaging work that will keep students on task and behaving. Classroom procedures are a little different than rules, but just as important. Teachers must make sure students practice behavioral procedures until it becomes second nature. We are moving along very nicely and on to number 7. What steps would you take to prevent bullying in your classroom? Teachers need to instill good values and morals into their students. They need to do more than just talk about the damage of bullying. Look to incorporate character-building lessons into the curriculum. Teachers have the responsibility to stop bullying at any and all instances. Never hesitate. Stop bullying as soon as possible. Bullying laws can be found in all 50 of the United States, but laws differ according to the state. Therefore, it is important to review and internalize the school bullying policy. Bullying often occurs during downtime, like on the playground or in the hallways. The bottom line is that if students are doing their work, then they are not bullying. Next up, question number 8. What types of teaching strategies do you incorporate into your instruction? When it comes to teaching strategies, I'll focus on Marzano's most effective. Teaching students through comparisons, similarities, and classifications are most effective. Every once in a while, students need to be recognized for their hard work. Providing positive reinforcement helps students push forward and continue learning. When students are given a problem, have them try and figure it out for themselves first. Hypothesizing and generating ideas go a very long way. Another strategy is to have students summarize what they have just learned. Teachers can also teach them various strategies for taking notes, such as mind mapping. I hate to hear teachers say homework is not important, because it is very important. Students need to practice problems to master the problem. Now we move on to number 9. How will you build relationships with the parents of your students? Before any relationship begins, you have to first be a good teacher. So provide high quality instruction for all of your students. Parents will appreciate it. The best way to know someone is to actually meet them. Try to increase the number of in-person meetings with your parents. A great way to build relationships is to make positive phone calls home. Teachers too often only call parents when a child does something wrong, but not when a child does something well. Although it may be difficult to find the time, go to your students' sporting events and extracurricular activities. You can meet the parents at these games. Lastly, develop a relationship with the student. The parents will be eager to meet their child's favorite teacher. And the last question given here, number 10. What types of formative assessments will you give to your students? Having students use personal whiteboards is an excellent formative assessment. Teachers can get a quick picture of all the responses that your students give. Formative assessments aren't really meant to be graded. However, exit tickets are often used as graded assessments. Hand signaling is a quick and popular way to do formative assessments. Some examples include dipsticking, 1 to 5, thumbs up, thumbs down in the younger grades, and many different variations. Before beginning a lesson, you can do a quick check for students' prior knowledge. And before we finish, just remember to be confident during your interview. You're going to do an excellent job. And right now, I just want to say thank you for your time and ask you to please subscribe to this channel.